my name is Mark. I was going to apologize for this being a shorter video, but I think at this point in time, you already know what you're going to get when you click on these videos. But seriously now, sorry for the short videos. I'm still quite busy with the lessons and recording and stuff, but don't worry, you're probably going to be interested in what I'm cooking up. But yeah, getting to the point of this video. Nick Johnston, right? Quite a popular guitar player nowadays. To be honest, I think I've been following him since, I don't know, 2013 or 2014. I think I heard a song of his or two, and I thought, well, these are cool, yeah. But then what really kicked me off were the videos that he shot on Keith Merrow's studio. I just fell in love with his playing and his musicality, so I decided to listen to a couple of more of his tunes. And what can I say, he pulled me right in. At the time I had been sketching down a song or two, but then I heard his songs and was like, yes, that's what I want to do, that's what I've been doing. And as I said before, I just started to consume all of Nick's content. All of his videos, all of his songs, a bunch of interviews and live performances. I mean, yeah, the guy's the beast. And even though he influenced me quite a bit when it comes to legato and hybrid picking, because to be completely honest, I wasn't doing much hybrid picking back then. I was just really using it if just regular picking wasn't really working. And I'm still not a big fan of legato, I prefer the sound of picked notes, but some of my licks are definitely Nick inspired. But getting to the point of the video, the main thing I think people think when they're talking about Nick is about his songwriting skills and the way he builds up these beautiful melodies with very interesting chords behind it. It's not really one of those jazz guys that plays super complex chords that sometimes can be kind of dissonant. He always plays the unexpected chords, but they are usually very pretty sounding chords. And when it comes to his songwriting techniques and strategies, he's kinda talked about it before, and even though his method works, it is really reliant on having a melody first. And if you're like me, finding a melody can sometimes not be as easy as it seems. Sometimes we have a chord progression first. Sometimes we have nothing on our minds and we're just jamming and we find some cool things, but we don't really know how to put it into a song. Well, that's what this lesson is about. It's kind of a Nick Johnston songwriting in a nutshell video. I'll kind of give you my take on it because it's my video and I'm not really Nick Johnston. I don't have his skills. I only have my skills, which are totally non-comparable. But if you like Nick's music and you want to do something in that vein, I wanted to really say copy the guy. What's the purpose? If you're going to copy Nick, we already have a Nick. But if you're going to do your own stuff, sort of in that genre, this lesson can help you out. But before we get into it, I just want to say, please subscribe to my channel. You probably know that YouTube's been acting a little bit weird lately. Even if you subscribe to a channel, that channel's videos may really not show up in your subscription box. And even if you ring the little notification bell thingy below, you still really may not be notified of that channel's content. So if you want to stay tuned to my content or the content of your favorite creators, all you have to do is subscribe to our channels and turn on all the notifications. Not just occasional notifications, which are probably set as the default, you really gotta turn on all the notifications. And since that may or may not work, I suggest you follow me on social media. Not only do I post there about my videos like trailers and teasers, but I also post some exclusive stuff there, like licks and improvisational solos, and in general just playing over jam tracks. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, so yeah, go follow those, at Mark Henrique's Guitar. The links will also be below. Oh, and while you're down there, please consider leaving a like. And maybe you could check some of my other videos after this one. Perhaps you'd like to check out this awesome trick to improvise and play over chord changes that is approved by Marty Friedman and Jason Becker. And since I kinda mentioned Nick Johnston on that video, you should perhaps check out Guthrie Govan vs. John Petrucci. Should you even practice guitar? And last but not leastly, how to apply and use any scale. All of those videos will be on the card section right there, on the annotations of the end screen, so please stay tuned, and in the description below. And yeah, I guess now we can get straight into it. Okay, so as I mentioned before, if you're trying to compose a song in this kind of a Nick Johnston style, there are two main approaches. The Nick way, which is to first get a melody and then gather some cool chords for it. And then there's the exact opposite way, which I guess is where most of us will fall, which is again, you have a couple of chords but you don't really have a melody. But either way, we'll go through both of those ideas. Let's go for the Nick way of having a melody and then gathering chords first. Let's say our melody is... It's not really one of those lullaby-like melodies, but it's again a really simple melody. Pretty easy, right? And let's not really think in a particular key, at least for now, and let's just think, okay, the first note we have is a G sharp. All we have to do is find a chord that has that G sharp on it. We could perhaps play, I don't know, a G sharp major chord. Seems to work fine, and then we can start thinking of the strong notes of our melody, which are 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you weren't really able to pick out, the strong notes, the ones that fall on the stronger beats, are G sharp and C notes. And as we saw before, both of our strong notes are notes present in our G sharp major chord. But let's say that we want to have a 2-chord song. The next chord would probably land in when we go for that C note, right? So we can follow the same process and think, okay, which chords have that C note? And we can play, for instance, a C major chord. And then we'd get... I played a simplified version of those chords right now, but you were able to get an idea, right? And we're already starting to form out our little song. And again, we don't really have to play these specific chords. We can do any chords we want. If we scrap this whole idea, let's look at the G sharp. The G sharp could perhaps be the third of an E major chord. The only problem is, if you are playing an E major chord, if you'll then land on that C, you'll land on this kind of augmented chord, which may not be the chord you're looking for. But still, we can keep, as we did before, we can keep the E major for the first bar. And then we can go for, again, the C major maybe. Pretty straightforward, or perhaps we could change that C major for an A minor maybe. To be completely honest, the sky's the limit. You could even mix up things, like if we mix both of those ideas, we could perhaps have... Pretty much any set of chords will work. It just depends on how dissonant you want to go. But yeah, so that we don't make this video like really long from previous experiences, nobody really wants to see a 30-minute video. Let's go to our second songwriting option. We have just been looking at having a melody but not really having a set of chords. But now we're going to look at having a set of chords but not really having a melody. Which, as I mentioned before, I think is probably where most of us land in. Let's say that we have a couple of chords like, I don't know... I guess that sounds cool. We could use our G major chords. And perhaps an A sharp major. And again, I chose these non-diatonic chords, which I guess if you don't know what a non-diatonic chord and you want to, I have a video where I talk about music theory that you can check out right there. But in the lamest terms, non-diatonic chords mean they're not in the same key, or at least they're not in our regular major key. If you're going to play a G major scale, this chord wouldn't be on that G major scale. So it's a non-diatonic chord progression. But again, that means nothing to us. If you really like the set of chords and we want to grab a melody over it, all we have to do is choose one note of that G major chord, and then choose one chord of our A sharp major chord. Now all we have to do is walk up to that note. Let's say that we want to go from our G note to our D note. Again, that D note is a quite good note because it's both in the G major chord as in the A sharp major chord. We'll start with that one first. We could perhaps do... It's a quite boring melody, right? But if we play it with those chords, again, there was some not great playing here and there, but I'm playing this stuff on the spot. Nothing of this has been practiced. Quality content right here, ladies and gentlemen. But again, we don't really have to play this more kind of boring melody. We can take any other note, for instance, go from our D note to perhaps our F note. The D note is in the G major chord, and the F is in our A sharp major chord. We could perhaps have a melody kind of like. I don't know, something like it. Again, sorry for that more rubbish playing. As I said before, all of this is being made up on the spot. And for those of you wondering, this is a shape for your G major chord. G, D, G, B, B, D, G. They're the same notes. And again, don't be worried. Both methods, whether the first one or the second one, work with any set of chords and with any melody. Again, the only things you may want to be aware of are the notes in common. If you look at the example we had before with the melody, if you look at both of these chords, the E major chord and the C major chord, both of those chords have a note in common, that E note. And if you look at the example we had now with the G major chord and with the A sharp major chord, as I discussed before, both of those chords have that D note. And that really helps out to build a connection between those chords so that the melody sounds much more powerful. Let's say that you grab two chords with no notes in common, like for instance an A minor chord and a G sharp minor chord. If you look at the notes of those chords, A, E, A, C, and A flat, E flat, A flat, and B, those chords don't share any notes. So if you wanted to build a melody using those two chords, it would sound much more weird, honestly. You could probably cook out something like, and again, at least to me, it doesn't really sound bad. But that melody against those chords doesn't really have as much of a strong connection as we had with the previous chords. So again, in the lamest terms, you wouldn't get as much of a prettier song. But yeah, I guess these are the basics of it. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you in any way possible. And if it was, please, leave me a comment below. Did you agree with what I said? Did you not agree? Do you have something to add to this discussion? Was there something I missed? Something I should have said? Do you have any suggestions for videos or what kind of content I should make? Don't forget to leave it in the comment section. And as always, I'm giving away free one-on-one Skype lessons. And anyone can enter, but they are limited though, so you gotta be fast. And all you have to do to win one free Skype lesson and discounts on future lessons is to subscribe to my channel, turn on all the notifications, follow me on Instagram, and then DM me on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter if you want to follow those two. Again, links for those below, but in general at Mark Henrique's Guitar, and yeah, DM me on one of my social media with screenshots proving that you did everything mentioned before. And yeah, I guess that's it. Again, thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications. Again, they will be in the annotation section of the end screen in just a couple of seconds. There are also some other videos on the cards section and some other things you may want to check out too. Hope you like this, and cheers!